Back in the spring of 1999, my friends were throwing our buddy Donick a bachelor party in Mexico. The plan was to rent a mansion in the hills of Puerto Vallarta. I didn't drink, so I would watch my pals guzzle tequila all weekend and, at the same time, pray the satellite dish would kick in so I could see the Final Four game between Duke and Michigan State. I had very little money back then, but somehow was able to bid $8,000 on Duke on credit in what is referred to as a Calcutta pool. This is where a bunch of people bid on teams and you get money for every round your squad advances in the NCAA tournament. And as a result, Coach K's team reaching the Final Four was a good thing for me. So a bunch of us flew to Mexico for a weekend of debauchery. Puerto Vallarta is beautiful, and the fellas got hammered, and I was able to watch a scrambled signal of the game on satellite. Elton Brand dominated, and the hated Blue Devils made the finals, which meant I was guaranteed to make money off of money I didn't have. Isn't this a romantic story so far? An even better call was heading out with the bachelor party later that evening to a local bar called Carlos O'Brien's, a name we would later bestow on our family mutt. It was a wonderful scene, a bunch of well-to-do Hollywood dudes buying shots for the rest of the bar, which happened to be made up of mostly attractive women. My friend Daniel was handing out lemon shots. Adam Carolla was getting recognized as the host of his popular MTV show Loveline. My cousin Jimmy was there, and having given Adam his start in show business, this was an ironic scenario where Adam was getting celebrity love and Jimmy wasn't. Suddenly, after a solid hour of Jimmy being ignored, a beautiful young woman in a red dress approached him. She says to Jimmy, "Wait, are you the guy on Win Ben Stein's Money?" And Jimmy proudly says, "Yes, I am." Then she says, "Oh, my father watches that show." Everyone laughs at Jimmy. She didn't realize what a backhanded burn she had just delivered. We all had a good laugh about it, and I knew right away that this was the woman I would spend the rest of the evening with. Melissa Trojanowski was on spring break with her friends from Wisconsin. With a name like Trojanowski, there was only about a 170% chance she would hail from the Dairy State. After making small talk with her, I found out that Trojanowski was a grad student at Madison, staying with her two friends in a Hyatt in the heart of Puerto Vallarta. I barely got this information out of her before my friend Daniel announced that he was rounding up several groups from the bar to come party with us back at the house. In a master stroke of debauchery, Daniel lined up a bunch of cabs, loaded groups of women into them, and shifted the festivities to the rented mansion. Trojanowski and I continued our conversation there and even played tennis on the mansion's outdoor court. I didn't let her win, mainly because I'm a competitive idiot, but she didn't seem to mind and, in fact, apologized for hitting the ball into the net for most of the match. I liked her more and more as the evening went on and even managed to sneak a kiss in when no one was looking. Eventually, Trojanowski and her friends left, and that, I felt, was that. Jimmy and my buddies were annoyed with me. "How did you not get Trojanowski's phone number? You finally meet a woman who's not repulsed by you, and you just let her go?" Well, the way I saw it, I lived in California, she lived in Wisconsin. I had just had a miserable time wrapping up a long-distance relationship and didn't have the stamina to start up another one. I'd be satisfied getting to first base with a nice lady every few years in a foreign country. Fortunately, us not being meant to be wasn't meant to be. A couple months later, my friend Matt Silverstein, one of the Man Show writers, was getting married in Chicago. That's when my good pal Tony approached me with the bet. "Hey, if I find her phone number, will you take her to the wedding?" Seemed like not a lot of downside to this bet, so I agreed. All we knew was Trojanowski's last name and the fact that she attended grad school at Madison. The internet was fairly new, so without Facebook or Instagram, this was going to be a wild badger chase. Somehow, Tony got in touch with the university and used his magic powers to convince the bursar or whoever to give him the phone number. That number was then placed on my desk about 20 minutes after the bet was made. Milwaukee was a cheese block's throw from Chicago, so this could actually happen. I called Trojanowski and told her that I wasn't stalking her, always a solid way to begin a conversation, and invited her to the wedding, which was a few weeks away. She seemed weirded out and said she'd get back to me later in the week.